What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekend astrology forecast for the weekend of September 14th and the 15th of 2024. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you all very much. Thank you so much. Again, thanks for the supers. I just appreciate you all and the support and the love. It means everything to me, and I'm always grateful, and I just want you to know that when I start these, how grateful I am for you. You make the channel go. I appreciate you. All right, well, let's look at the weekend. Moon in Aquarius this weekend, building up one sign prior to where we're going to have that lunar eclipse at 25 degrees with Neptune. So there's a big waxing gibbous moon here. It's quite intense. There's definitely electricity in the air. There's the feeling of change. There's culminating events building up. Something's about to happen. Not only do we building up two eclipses, which are dealing with the nodes, South Node, Libra, North Node, Aries, but Mars is square those nodes. It is such an interesting connective and disconnective time. And this is a weekend where I think it is like, so obvious where the vibe is with a lot of people in our life. Not only is it testing our courage and our willpower to move forward, to trust ourselves, to feel safe in ourselves, and that we can do things by ourselves if needed, but also that we are able to do that enough to, and fill up our own cup enough that we can, fill up someone else's cup too. So it's an interesting reciprocation based on emotional identities, based on connectivity, frequency, vibration. There's a vibrational shift. There's a heavy energy right now. And again, it's a big place right now where people are either supporting your identity, your direction, the way you're pioneering your life, or they're not. And you have to, feel safe and secure enough in yourself to, be willing to move away from energy in your life that does not feel like it's part of the family, part of the soul tribe, like it is in harmony. There is a proper balance and reciprocation of energy, emotion, feelings, clarity. There's a big test right now on our interpersonal relationships. So yeah, it just feels like it's either like really, really connected this weekend with Mars square the nodes, and it feels right. Things are identified and they make sense, or gosh, they're identified but not in the way maybe our ego wanted, and this can bring up very weird emotions with the moon in Aquarius, have us feeling very disconnected, have us wanting to separate a little bit, get some space, try to figure things out emotionally so that we can identify the proper movement and the right things to say based on the data, based on the information in our lives, and certain things that need to be tidied up and cleaned up so that we can better ourselves. Because a lot of this Virgo season is really about identifying our own weaknesses, our own problems, and bettering ourselves just to be better, just so that we can keep going up this steep tip of the mountain that is Pluto at 29 Capricorn for the final time ever. This life, ever. Maybe you'll come back and deal with it again. Maybe I will too. I don't know. But big time soul integrity check, big time integrity check just on like our resilience. Can we make heavy, hard decisions and choices for what we know is right, what we know is better? And even if you're not dealing with people in your life and that's all good and grand and everybody's supporting you, outstanding. I love that for you. But you also have to like not just bypass situations right now and be like constantly weighing things out. Like this is where you got to make big decisions for your future, your career, things that you want to accomplish in life. This is like a really big time to be able to be in the right mind space, the right head space, the right heart space, to go and create what you want life to be, to harvest the reality that you desire to have. Venus, trine Jupiter, outstanding. Outstanding. But this can also inflate our ideals when it comes to relationship stuff, South Node Libra. When it comes to people, and Mars, even in Cancer, almost can want to be overly nurturing or overly giving. And that's where I think, You have to be honest about what balance is for you and if it's fitting right. With every little thing in your life, balance is such an important thing. I feel like you can almost win any spiritual conversation in the world if you just say, well, with balance, right? It's so Libra. If you balance it right, everything in balance, you can pretty much win any argument and be like, well, yeah, in balance, of course. Yeah, balance. So, how do we get to that, right? How do we actually balance things out so that we can kind of win that argument within ourselves? And really see the fruits of our labor pay off, see the good ideas that can come to life if we're really trying to create things that make sense, things that are harmonious in an idealistic way to you, and being able to still identify. We just can't lose track of our own identification of what we want. It's the biggest thing I want to hammer home is it's not about what other people want or their belief systems being projected onto you. This is you building new tradition, new structure, new routine for yourself and identifying what you need. And what one person needs is not always going to be what somebody else needs. And this moon in Aquarius is like, yeah, we need to be able to feel our unique self. We need to, feel individuated from others in a sense so that we can really find this inventive, amazing quality deep within us that wants to separate from a lot of herd mentality and come into a more self mentality, but also a tribe mentality about the frequency of the people and the communities that you're in and what you're doing. So definitely positive things. There are positive things to this weekend. I think that there's a lot of abundance in our values when we come to the truth about what they really are, and when we are able to narrow things down and pick. The like Seven of Cups comes to mind, like all these different options, and it's like, oh, but really it's like there's one specific one that is the calling, that is the better option, that is what you should, reach for. So being able to narrow things down and see what the best gift that the universe has to offer you this weekend, what the best relationships have to offer, what the best you has to offer as well. Because it can feel very giving and very which is a beautiful thing. But again, you can't give what you don't have. So make sure you're giving yourself enough and doing the things that make you feel good, especially Saturday. As we come to Sunday, Sunday is very interesting because we get the trine between Venus and Jupiter, but we also get the moon coming through here to make a grand trine. And of course, on Saturday, the moon does make good aspects to the nodes. But again, that's more of what I've already talked about. Just a roundabout way of things working together, and that's where we're at. But this grand trine's, definitely a good one, but it's not by doing it the way that maybe other people want or the way that you've been taught. This is definitely like doing it your own way, your own truth, your own beliefs, your own values, your own sense of balance, your own sense of self-worth, and to really liberate yourself to be on that level and to be smart enough to make decisions that correspond with a deep inner gut feeling and emotion that is taking you towards a lot of self-realization and self-actualization, because Mars is exactly square these nodes as well when we have that grand trine. So it is definitely spectacular mathematical alignment as we approach a lunar eclipse on the 17th, which is Tuesday. So a lot, is going on. We're also seeing the sun come to 23 degrees, peeling off the square to Jupiter, but starting to apply its trine to Uranus, which is also so liberating. So not only do we get a very interesting and somewhat auspicious lunar eclipse with Neptune, which is such a, I'll be honest, like what is going to be real and projected onto us? This liberating energy is right there with it in trine. And even Venus is working on quincunxing that. Not yet, but it's building. And really, it's going to be a yod to Venus soon, in a few days, with Neptune and Uranus to that 27, 28 degree of Libra that a lot of things are going to pass through. So, liberation is the key. This is such a great weekend to see who's connected, who's not, who's on the vibe with you, who's not, and to be honest and real, to be smart, to make very elevated decisions for yourself. And it's also such an emotional, I feel like too, it's a very big like emotional awareness um, time where you're really able to understand your unique feelings and do the right thing for yourself that's going to bring new levels of abundance, new levels of beauty into your life. But it's not like somebody else has to show you this. Like you have to break away from that sort of perception of life and show it to yourself. And I think the understanding of our own emotional world, because that's like the truest sense of ego, right? Like we could all say someone has an ego because of what they show and the mask that they wear to others, which is very much like our rising sign, right? If you're thinking of like that's very first house, sort of this energy we might show or project onto the world about what an ego is. But really, the ego lies in the fourth house and in Cancer. And that's the way that, you're viewing your own movie projection. And we all see it a little bit differently on the external. And I think if you're able to really tap into the movie that's playing for you and be really honest about what can be better or what can be more balanced or what can be healthier for you, better understood, different ways of feeling comfortable in your communication, very to the point, very black and white about certain things without beating around the bush or playing games, because games are just a weird seesaw energy in itself. We're expecting other people to play the game with us, and we want to definitely lower expectations on what other people are going to do and play the game from a 1v1 perspective about what are you doing right now and how are you reinventing reality. And even the moon by the end of Sunday is going to square Uranus. And, we're either feeling liberated in our values and we're feeling comfortable in who we are and we're able to fly our own spaceship wherever we got to go right now, or we're feeling like we have to step in line somewhere and follow some, order to be a certain way or to do a certain thing. And is that you identifying something, or is that you not feeling safe and secure enough to be yourself and be unique? And that can be, a shocking revelation that could show up in our lives too. Either shocking and revolutionary in a way that we're like, holy crap, I can do it my way. Or holy shift, shout out Chris Witecki for the holy shift. For, I'm just doing it in a very repetitive, very same way that other people are doing it. And I'm falling into traditions that were indoctrinated into my psyche, and I'm not liberating myself right now to build my own traditions and to be my own boss and to be my own ID and trust the movie that's playing within and trust that I'm safe to create and to harvest something beautiful and amazing. So it's tricky times because we could definitely be feeling tested on many levels. People could be testing us, and in a lot of ways it is a test, and we got to like show up and pass this thing. It's very high energy, high intensity right now for the collective. So there is such a responsible way to handle certain situations right now, and you got to do it from what's right for you and what's best for you, and realize how much, like, how full is your cup? Can you give everything right now, or are you down to the last drop and you need that last drop because there ain't no water at the top of this peak, and you might need that last drop to get to the peak. So we need to consider these things, these interesting metaphors that I throw out here, but put it into perspective for your life and try to do what's best for you. And if you have extra water and you're with people and you love them and you support them and you want to see them get to the top of the mountain, then of course you're going to share your water, right? But this is something you and we all have to figure out for ourselves is how much do I have the capacity right now to give and still make sure that I'm putting myself in a position to reach where I need to go. And I think that that's going to be hard for some people because Mars is we're just Mars in Cancer and Venus in Libra, we're all a little more empathetic than is maybe even healthy. Right? Yeah.
I came here just in time.
Just in time for some card pulling? What, are you just sitting out there waiting? Want to say hi?
Hello.
Hello. All right. Card for the weekend is
Happy. Happy.
cover your face. It is happy. It's the Two of Cups. It's a beautiful card. You know, it's a true loving energy. It's a true connective energy. And I think that that's how life can be. Whether it's just the relationships, whether it's just our relationship to ourselves, like it can be unconditional, it can be divine, it can be beautiful. It could, bring all the emotions that we want to feel to the table. But we have to be identifying what that is to us. And it's, got to be unique to us and special to us. And I think that the energy around us that shares similar values about what is bringing in this quality of feeling into our lives is so important. And I do think, for people who are in relationships right now and are maybe it's difficult, things aren't working, you want to like look at a card like this and ask yourself if you still have that feeling, or you could get back to that feeling, if that still lives inside of you or not, or if it doesn't. Because if it doesn't, there's an identification to that too. And relationships need to be in a supporting nature like this. They need to be like that. And like really like soul contracts that are here to uplift and support and nurture the identification of another person, even if it's not the same exact thing as you, which it won't be. And the things that are, quality right now, and those I think people are going to feel more connected than ever. So, beautiful card. What else do we get? The Tower in reverse. I mean, it just makes me feel like we need to remember what love is, right? We can't just jump ship on things if there's still quality and good emotion and good feeling there, because we think maybe someone else will make it better, like at the same time. There's an interesting feeling of getting the Tower reversed that's like we're almost just paying attention to the astrology and trying to burn things down just to burn things down. We need to, and is that like outside information, too, that's maybe persuading different things in our life that we're trying to maybe burn down? Or are we really like looking at our own factual evidence about what should be, torn down so that we can rebuild? And I think if we need to rebuild to get better quality and feeling out of our life, we need to do it 100%. We can't be scared to do it. And I think that's the interesting part of this is like it's the flip. I think for some, it's not being scared to go get better. And for others, I feel like it's some really interesting desire to just burn it all down for the sake of burning it all down. But does it all need to be torn down and rebuilt? And do you think that'll make you feel better? Or is that an escape of its own to escape certain little issues that can be identified and maybe fixed? Not just for relationships, but for all sorts of things. I love you all. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. Hope that's helpful, and I'll see you all Monday. Much love. Peace.